Welcome. We're so excited you're joining us today. Woohoo, it's 2025. Let's start with a question for everyone watching. What are your ultimate goals? What are the must-haves for your music teaching business for 2025? Let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Welcome to the Ultimate Music Teachers Live Show. I'm Gloria St. Germain, your host, and it's always a joy to connect with our amazing community. And joining me today is my fabulous co-host, Joanne Barker. Hi, Joanne.
Good morning, Gloria. It's wonderful to be here. I'm so excited to explore today's topic. Learn, experiment, perform, and thrive in 2025. This show today is going to be all about turning those big dreams that you have into non-negotiable action steps that'll lead to a thriving music teaching studio and a bit more of a thriving in your own life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think 2025, Joanne, it's like a fresh canvas. And the question is, what do you want to paint on it? Right? What colors do you want to use? Imagine what's possible for you and think about, as you said, Joanne, those non-negotiable achievements for your music teaching business. Maybe it's building a group class program, maybe it's adding a theory club class, or maybe it's, hitting a financial milestone. Whatever it is, it starts with clarity.
I totally agree. The key isn't just dreaming, but defining those dreams as must-haves. For example, like if your goal is to teach group music lessons, what does that look like? How many students? How often? Is it going to be every week? Is it going to be a monthly group class? What's the financial impact? Getting specific can really create focus and give you purpose and direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And now let's think about, I know I sound like Kermit the Frog today. Yay. Let's think about why these goals matter. What will achieving them mean for your music teaching business? What will it mean for your students? What will it mean for your life? So take a moment, and maybe if you're sitting down, you can jot a few things down. Take a moment to just write things down or just envision yourself thriving in 2025. Let us know in the chat. How do you feel when you reach those goals? What does that feel like for you? What does that look like for you? Right, Joanne?
Yeah, this is where it get really exciting. You break those big goals into smaller 90-day action plans. And what's one step that you could take in the next 3 months that's going to move the needle the most for you?
Yeah, it's such a good question. So let's talk about strategy. So there's three things that come to mind. So number one is learn. What skills or knowledge do you need to acquire in order to achieve those goals, right? Number two would be experiment. What can you try that's new? Like Joanne said, teaching a group class or offering a workshop. And number three, perform. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean taking the stage. It means how will you take action? How will you perform? And how will you measure your success?
Exactly. And don't forget, those 90-day goals are like stepping stones to your ultimate vision. For example, if you want to add $1,000 to your monthly income, start by planning a short-term music theory camp. That's a great way to generate money to boost your business. What's one experiment that you're excited to try this year, Glory?
Well, that's a great question, Joanne. I love experimenting with new ways to engage students in theory lessons, like adding games, adding interactive activities to a group setting, and ultimately our new Ultimate Music Theory flashcard system. And it correlates to the Ultimate Music Theory workbook. So I think it's important to really step out of your comfort zone. And it's about finding what works and then refining it. And
Exactly.
I think this is a perfect time for us to step in, right, Joanne?
I totally agree. We have to experiment, and some of those experiments might not be the ones that work for you. But if you don't try, you're not going to know if it works for you and your students, right? So a little uncomfortable questioning of yourself, and who knows where it's going to go. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what it takes to learn, experiment, and perform in 2025. For the learn aspect of it, maybe you want to master teaching online, or maybe you want to improve your marketing skills. There's two completely different things to learn about in our music teaching business, right? Teaching, marketing. And, maybe you want to experiment. Maybe you want to try a new format like the hybrid lessons, or maybe the combo classes like I offer at my studio, with where everybody gets weekly group lessons with mini private, or what we call solo lessons. Or maybe you want to do a themed group class. I just did something this past week where I'm mostly online, and once a month we're in person. And this week I thought, well, why don't I gather everybody together. So instead of their normal class length, we're going to have a longer time. So I had one class had from a pre-grade 1 student to a grade 5 student in the same class. But we did theory games together, and we did a theory checkup because we're physically there. I got their books, clipped their corners and their pages. So it doesn't have to be a permanent every week thing, but maybe you just want to try something like that. It also builds community. We have some little Valentine treats because it's getting closer to Valentine's Day. It's just a fun way to do something different. And this is the perform aspect. This is where you put that into action, which is what I did, and you track your progress. And maybe if my feedback from that class is the parents went, we didn't really like that, maybe I won't do it again. I think they're going to come back with pretty positive results because the kids left smiling and laughing. So
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, Joanne. And I think also we want to say too that remember that it's okay if everything doesn't go perfectly, just as you said, Joanne. Experimentation, just experiment. It is about learning what works and what doesn't, right? Because that's how we teach, right? Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to success. And that's what it's all about.
exactly. Once you find your rhythm, it's easier to build momentum. So what's one new thing you're excited to experiment with in your teaching? Please share that with us in the chat. And one
Yeah.
word of caution, be careful what you start. If you announce it and say, we're going to be doing this every month, then that becomes the expectation. So you might have that intent, but be careful how you share that intent with people because like I said, if you give, a $25 gift at the end of every lesson year because you've got 3 students, that becomes the expectation. So you want to, have your dreams and hopes and keep the expectations for your students and your community realistic so that you're not put in a position of going, oh, I shouldn't have said that. So, be really careful when you're experimenting. So kind of share with us in the chat, what have you tried in your studio? What's worked and what hasn't worked, right?
Yeah, I really like that, Joanne, because we do want to share, this is how we grow as musicians, and what an incredible time to have this platform, whether you're joining us on LinkedIn or Facebook or our YouTube channel, make sure to leave us a comment. What is working for you in your music teaching studio? What's not working for you? And how can we support you and how can we serve you? And you may want to join us at teachumt.com. You can even book a call with us if you want to learn more about our program. So let's talk about thriving. So imagine you've hit your 2025 goals. Woohoo, it's time to celebrate. You've grown your business, your students are thriving, and you're feeling fulfilled. So what does that look like and what does that feel like for you? What's going to work for you? What do you think, Joanne?
Well, I can speak from experience because last year I did just this process. I set my goals for the year, and one of the big ones was a financial one. And I look at some numbers on a piece of paper now or a computer screen and go, I did it. It was hard work. It was consistency. It was diligence. It was discipline. But I got to where I wanted to get to in last year. So I'm just setting the same goal for this year. So thriving, it doesn't just happen, right? People see, an athlete on TV and say, wow, they're so talented. No, they have an aptitude that they refined, right? It's about consistent action. It doesn't have to be a huge, I'm going to put $1,000 in savings this month. It can be, I'm going to put $50 in savings this month, or I'm going to introduce one new tool in my studio this month. You don't have to do a whole big thing at once. It's small baby steps and consistency, right? It's about balancing in life. It's about balancing your teaching, your personal growth, and your profitability. And the best part, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have the right resources, the support, which is crucial, and strategy, I think thriving becomes your new normal. So, what do you need to learn to experiment with and to perform so that you can thrive in 2025? So, whether it's, creating better lesson plans, whether it's enrolling more students, maybe it's launching a new program, we're here to help you make it happen.
Yeah, we are. And that's where the Ultimate Music Theory Teachers membership comes in. Inside, you're going to find everything you need to learn, plan, teach, and grow, not just in your music theory teaching, not just in your music teaching, but in your music business and in your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And inside the membership, you get access to courses to level up your teaching, community for support and collaboration, and coaching to turn your goals into actions. So remember, you don't have to do it alone. You can visit us at teachumt.com to get started today.
Yep, and we'll look forward to seeing you inside the Ultimate Music Teachers membership at teachumt.com. So until next time, keep on learning, experimenting, and performing as you thrive in your music teaching journey.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you inside teachumt.com. Until next time, teach with passion.